Alright, game 2 here in this series between The Last of Us and Sweet Like Ice. As bans are out here, obviously game 1 going to The Last of Us in a pretty solid 20-minute victory. Bit surprising that it ended how it did, but apparently Sweet Like Ice just sort of feeling like, yeah, we can't win this game, so there's no point in prolonging the pain. In the meantime, though, we've got Game 2 here, as it looks like Last of Us will look to close up the series, and Sweet Like Ice trying to stay alive for a Game 3. We'll see if they can do so. Bubbles and Wretched Hag, the bans here from IC Bro, so Bubbles obviously not played last game, but Hag was. In Balthazar's hands, he did pretty well. Didn't do the greatest, but did fine. Interesting that he banned that out. Just two versatile heroes, I guess, that bring a lot to the table, and are quite powerful, so not a huge surprise the bans are there. And of course, Architiger's first ban is Puppet Master, so if you haven't watched Game 1, that's because Beaver Banger on that Puppet Master had like 500 GPM at the 14-minute mark. He was just farmed out of his mind, and they couldn't do anything about it, so first ban there, as I predicted really in Game 1 as well, is going to be used on Puppet Master. Second ban on Kronos, removing the popular suicide option, so not a huge surprise there either. In all four bans that make complete sense, as Meisty's going for basically the same draft he went for last game. Drunk Master first pick on top of Rhapsody. We'll see if he goes for Torture again. It is available. And why not? Nope, it's going to be the Parasite. So they're going to choose to run the jungle strat here. What you got, almost certainly going to end up with that hero. And Drent's going to be on the Rhapsody. Probably going to see Drunken Master in Meisty's hands once again as that suicide option. So looking for probably a mid and a short laner, as Rhapsody can either go for the dual mid or go for the dual short, depending on what heroes they want to go with and who needs to be babysit, whether they have a kill lane mid, etc., etc. Hellborn side are going to go for Ophelia and Engineer here so far, so stacking up in the team fight and continuing to improve their push potential, getting a real strong push hero so far here in Ophelia. Dr. Repulsor will be the short laner, and probably going to be the solo short laner, and Engineer not a great babysit, so I'm not a big fan of that. Because now Legion side can man up, and because they know that, they basically know that Engineer is not going to be babysitting that Dr. Repulsor, so they can man up with a dual lane here, and I'd like to see that actually, and we'll see if that actually happens. But Doctor, one of those heroes, if you shut him down early, he does nothing in the game. He does not recover, and if he gets off to a good start, he's impossible to deal with. So we'll see what Legion side chooses to do here, but I don't like this draft so far from Architiger, just because you can't pick a Doctor that early and expect it not to get countered. And this is going to get countered by some sort of pick or strategy here by the Legion side. We might see Meisty in a short lane, and they might go for a more aggressive dual lane. I think they're not super happy anymore about the Parasite pick. Maybe they would have preferred a tri-lane, or they would have preferred a dual support strat. But obviously Parasite's still a strong hero, and going the jungler versus jungle, I think, a little bit better than dual support anyway. So I fully expect to see a man-up dual lane coming out here from the Legion side. So they're looking probably for a solo mid and a solo short. Drunken Master could obviously fit either of those two roles, so no doubt they have some options left in terms of their picking, and that's always nice when you have the ability to have a versatile draft. Meanwhile, Hellborn side are looking for their own mid laner as something to pair with that Engineer as well as the Suicide. So Legion side, actually, they're going to ban out Madman and Torture, so Madman obviously played last game as the Suicide in Byver's hands, and we'll see where he goes this game. But a little surprising they'd ban out Torture. It doesn't seem to fit the Hellborn lineup too well, especially because they already have the Engineer, unless they're going to run the carry Engie, which would be very odd, or the farming Engie, I guess. And honestly, the Hellborn could do the smart thing, I think, for them to do at this point would be to run the Doctor middle, because they would not expect that on the Legion side, and they're gonna assume they're gonna be a solo mid or whatever, or dual mid, excuse me, and Engineer's gonna be part of that lane, so they're probably gonna go for a slightly defensive mid hero. Maybe not. Maybe delete Prisoner. So we'll see what they choose to do here, but Prisoner pick a little interesting. Not a huge fan of that. It's gonna give them strong initiation with the hook, but I feel like they probably could have done better. Obviously, Bubbles and Hag being banned out, those have been really really strong options. Pharaoh, I think, could have fit this team really, really well if they were going to go for that sort of initiation hero. Maybe even Pebbles providing some burst damage, something to lock down this Doctor would have been really good. But Kraken give you the fourth pick here. for the Hellborn side, as they banned out Keeper of the Forest, Devourer, and Gauntlet, so removing 2 strong mid heroes, as well as the potential suicide option of Keeper of the Forest, as obviously Parasite's going to be occupying the jungle. And obviously the third hook hero went to the Team USA, or the Last of Us guys, as Prisoner 945 was the pickup. So we'll see what they choose to go here for their last selection. Almost certainly going to be a short laner. And Slither will be the option. So yep, going to be a solo short Slither. And are we going to see a suicide? I think we're going to see a suicide Drunken and a Rhapsody Prisoner middle. And I don't like that. I really, really think they need to man up against this Dr. Repulsor, who Drunken will do fine, I think, against Doctor, because Doctor won't really be able to harass him out of lane, and Drunken, especially before level 6, can be really, really powerful against a hero like Doctor, who's squishy, doesn't have a real escape mechanism until he gets that ultimate. But if they had managed to get a dual lane up there, and I don't think they're going to, but I guess it's still possible, then I feel like that could have been so good, but whatever. Kraken will be the big hero. I assume that's going to be a suicide, so they're probably looking for a mid as well. And that's part of the reason why the Devourer Gauntlet bans I don't think don't make too much sense, but whatever. Magma's still on the board. I think that would be my pick pretty definitely if they're going for that mid hero, and I think that's what makes sense here. Meraxis and Pebbles also still available. Rally's on the board. They could go for any of those heroes really, but I think Magmus is the correct selection here. Would pair well with the Kraken ultimate, release the Kraken, traps everybody, and it's going to be Meraxis, so that's fine. It's a little defensive. I'm worried about this Hellborn side before about the 30 to 40 minute mark, because I just don't feel like the damage is there. You know, Meraxis really, really tanky, but doesn't do a lot of damage. Kraken, reasonably tanky, decent amount of damage, but not a ton. Dr. Repulsor doesn't really get going until later on, and Ophelia, more of a push, gank-oriented hero. I tried for the sync ready, but not going to happen there. Anyway, we'll see what the lanes are, but I think Hellborns are relatively easy to protect. Meraxis and Engineer are going to be middle, Suicide Kraken, Solo Short Doctor, and Ophelia in the woods. So once again, Sweet Like Ice getting rather predictable in their lane choices, and that's not really something you want to have happen. The Legion side are a slightly less obvious. They could still run the dual lane top, I think, especially if it's either going to be Drunken Rhapsody or Prisoner Rhapsody up top if they choose to do that. But I would expect to see the dual lane middle, and I don't like that. I think the optimal situation here is Prisoner Rhapsody top, Drunken mid, because Drunken can actually avoid the aggression from the Hellborn side with a stagger, and Prisoner can't really do so if he's by himself. And so they're just wasting his mana here, apparently. We're definitely going to see a short lane solo Slither, and obviously Parasite in the woods. Which woods is a question, but one of them woods. I do really think they probably counterpick this Parasite for the Ophelia, which is not really the greatest move in my opinion. I don't think it's that valuable to choose an entire hero just because, every so often we'll be able to steal an Ophelia minion. It's a nice little mechanic, but I don't think it's that crazy awesome. Looks like they're going to be warding up the jungle pretty extensively here, as they drop a word of sight here. But obviously having the Adro word of sight over here lets them know what's going on in general, and it's not surprising here. They're going to run the dual lane middle. Going to be a Suicide Maesty up top against Dr. Repulsor, and the Legion side will be running their own dual lane mid with Meraxis and Engineer and Kraken in the Suicide lane. So missed opportunities, I feel like, for at least. Actually, is Rhapsody going bottom? No. There's no way she's going bottom. No, she's going middle. And they're going to send the Meraxis Engineer to top. Ooh, so they just got out mind gamed. I brought this up in the drafting phase that I thought that they should send Repulsor middle, and actually it could be in some trouble here now. A couple more auto attacks, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Rap's going to be able to nearly kill Repulsor here, but he will be fine. I think they got out mind gamed here, because I think that they figured that the Legion was going to send a dual lane top, and they were going to, alright, we'll counter the dual lane top with our own dual lane. But Legion are just like, nope, we're gonna run the obvious lineup. The no duh, this makes sense, 100% obvious lineup. So, ooh, this is painful. They're gonna have to transition this. I cannot imagine they can stick with this for a long period of time. Up top, Dragon Master taking some harassment, but I mean, you can see how much punishment Doctor's already taking. He's only got 2 tangos left. Excuse me. And he's already at half health. If Prisoner lands a hook here, that's a death. And he basically cannot do anything in this lane, so Sweet Like Ice getting, sort of getting ahead of themselves a little bit, bottom lane. Kraken putting some pretty solid harassment down here onto Beaver Banger on that Slither, as he will pop a health pot. It's a lane that can honestly go either way. I would suspect Kraken won't die here unless he misplays. Drops the Slither Spray, actually. Kraken, though, gonna respond with a charge, and he's gonna box Slither in, but this could be a problem, because all that poison damage is doing quite a lot here. He's going to be able to get away, hides in the woods, and he'll be fine. And there's a couple of health pots, so once that wears, the toxicity wears off, he'll be popping that, and there we go. Middle lane, meanwhile, Engineer going to transition, so NG Doctor middle. This is interesting. So bottom lane, Kraken has so much regen that I think he has a really good chance of winning this lane, honestly. Parasite off to the side, going to come in, and won't actually do anything. Nope. Parasite obviously here, providing some vision. And there's a Rhapsody, still looking to set something up. Up there, will hit onto Engineer, and the Staccato stuns are down as well. Is the Shackle not available? Nope, there it is, finally. Gonna be Bloodlust here. And Doctor going to try to counter on a Rhapsody here, will do so. But we'll see if actually he can get another kill onto Diglett, as he's got the bottle, but he's dropping himself into the trees. A couple more autos, and he's going to fall. Engineer ports in, and Diglett's going to have to go on an adventure, but he's going to run right into Ophelia. Oh, yep, hello. Parasite is here. They're trying to help him, but that's not going to be able enough, and Diglett will fall. So it ends up being a 2-for-1 there. At least I get the Bloodlust, but the Hellborn counter with 2 kills ends up being relatively even in terms of the overall trade. Actually, it's not, because Balthazar picked up both of those kills, so that was probably in favor of the Hellborn side. Bottom lane, so they're continuing to try to harass out Kraken, but at this point, Kraken needs to save his mana, try to get level 6, and drop an ultimate on Slither's face, because that could very well result in a kill. Slither Spray actually misses there. This is the point where if I'm Kraken, I'm going all out. Yeah, get at him. His spray's on cooldown. He does not have all that much mana. This is your opportunity, Kraken, to do some harass damage and enough to eventually make your combo kill him. I haven't touched my top lane too much, but Meisty at 250 gold per minute compared to way too easy at 263, so Marax is a little bit ahead here. Now all of a sudden he's not. And a relatively even lane, not a huge surprise. Both melee heroes, both very, very difficult for the other one to kill. As I think Meisty probably even has the advantage here because he has an escape mechanism and a stun compared to Marax's just having the stun. Obviously Marax is still a little bit, pretty hard to kill here, so not going to be easy for Drunken to pick up a kill, but he should not have a bad time at all. Ophelia is going to be really the wild card here if she is able to get some solid creeps and jump a gank onto Meisty, then that could end up in his death, but still seems pretty unlikely to me, so probably not going to see too much action up here as we haven't so far. Middle lane continues to be in favor of Diglett as he's at 320 gold per minute, excuse me, compared to Balthazar 280, so the transition was made, but I think it's the wrong one. Instead of sending Engineer middle, they should have sent NG and Marax's middle and put Doctor top. That would have been a much better plan. And I think Balthazar is sort of having to pay for that. Opposite charge to get put down here, but the Saggato's there as well. Shackle goes down. That's why they picked Prisoner. It was a counter to Doctor. I'm stupid. It took me, what, like 10 minutes to realize that? Shackle will stop his ult. Okay, so that's just an effective CC tool for the Prisoner's ult, or the Doctor's ultimate, so I understand why they did that. Not a huge fan of it, really, but it seems like the Legion side, in both the Parasite and the Prisoner, didn't necessarily pick heroes that made a ton of sense for the lineup. They're just like, oh, they picked this, so we'll counter that with this. And I'm not sure if that's my favorite way to do things. Doctor in here going to be a lot of trouble, though. Shackle goes down, and the hook back. That's going to be a pretty easy kill. As Balthazar getting a little too greedy, feeling like he needed that rune. And gets collapsed on by 3 heroes. Bottom lane, Beaverbanger, 226 gold per minute, compared to Biver at 270, so no huge surprise here that Kraken's winning this lane, honestly. He's just, his lane presence is so good, and he's got so much regen. The amount he was pooled is sort of ridiculous here. As I think does he have enough for spray 100 and 125? No, so he doesn't have enough for his full combo, but Kraken feeling like, yeah, I don't really want to be here. And he ports away, goes back to base to heal up a bit. Notable, he does not have a bottle. Bottles are picked up by Doctor and Meraxis. And on the Legion side, we've got them on Drunken and Prisoner. My general philosophy is every team should have at least 2 bottles. I think max 3, at least 2. Because with the rune spawning at both locations, that means every single time a rune spawns, somebody is at both runes. Top lane actually, MiC drops. Sorry, wrong thing. He drops to Matrax, and wow, he must have been pretty low coming into that. So that's pretty surprising that MiC is going to drop there. Bit of a misplay, no doubt, as he was a little too low, got a little too close. Shackle gets dropped here, and Parasite's here as well. Face Hug goes down. That's going to be a kill on Balthazar. So that's pretty key, obviously. As they're continuing to shut down this Doctor Repulsor, 250 gold per minute. So Balthazar having some issues with this in this game once again. It harkens back to that Slither game where he could just never get going. As they just, I mean, they're doing a really good job of collapsing on him, which is what CiC did to Sweet Like Ice as well. But more importantly than that, I think this is just a poor laning decision from them. Just there's no reason for Repulsor to be in this middle lane. Like, that transition should have been made so long ago. Meanwhile, the bottom lane, so they're actually going to drop to the release of Kraken, as well as Dr. Repulsor's involvement. Probably didn't even need him there. Probably could have just used the Kraken to take him out, but having the help from Balthazar, he picks up some assist gold, so not bad for him. Top lane, we're going to see actually middle lane, we're going to kill on Adro, but on top we're trying to look for a kill onto Balthazar, and that's not going to be it. So, Prisoner obviously apparently dropping the hook and or at least the shackle, and the ultimate plus double damage rune makes that poor little engineer pretty damn squishy. Bottom lane, meanwhile, Parasite off to the side a little bit, but we're just going to spot him out, so Kraken not in too much danger. He is pretty low here, so you might want to consider. Meanwhile, middle lane, Repulsor going to fall once again. As he has more deaths. He has more deaths than anybody else on his team. He's responsible for more than half of the deaths on his team. It's not really looking good for Repulsor, and he keeps going to this middle lane. Just stop it. At this point, Drunken can't kill him. He's level 6. It's just not going to happen. He might not have the greatest time farming up here against the DM, but it's not working. Just stop. It's not working in middle lane. Get him out of there. And this is it seems to go back to Sweet Like Ice once again not making the correct decisions. Merax is going to go here, trying to get a jump. Counter jump by MiC though, as he's putting all sorts of damage down. Eats some axes. Matrax is available, and Meraxis has the mana for it, so MiC might want to be careful here, because if he takes a stun and a Matrax, that's going to be a problem. Meanwhile, in the middle lane, Dr. Repulsor once again. Actually, he is able to get away this time with the ultimate, but just barely so. And only thanks to the ultimate from Ophelia, actually off the side. Parasite, one more auto attack. Release of Kraken gets dropped. And they're going to be able to pull Kraken back in. Parasite trying to live here. That's not going to happen. So he tries to finish off Repulsor, but so low both times. times, and the Legion side have got to be a little salty about that. Middle lane, gonna hook back in onto Dr. Repulsor once again, but not too much. Actually, that's a good play from Diglett, trying to mitigate some of the ability of the creeps to tank to the tower and slow the push down a little bit. Top lane, meanwhile, actually Matrix gets dropped and Maestri is gonna fall. So once again, misplaying a bit. Staccato's in the meanwhile, last auto attack will finish off Ophelia. Top lane, or middle lane, and Kraken runs away. Off to the side here, Repulsor has no mana, but he should be okay. So they're spray doing stuff to try to kill these guys. Parasite, actually, in a Slither sprayed Skeleton King. Kraken's just going to run away. Obviously, Skeleton King available, but not the biggest deal, as he had charge. Middle lane counter push now going to be coming out by the Legion side as they're looking to take down a tower of their own. And The Last of Us slightly up in both gold and experience. 66 hero kills, but obviously Diglett in that middle lane, the real star of it for this one, for them this time, at nearly 400 gold per minute. Meraxis did quite well on top, and Kraken did very well on bottom, so Hellborn side. And it's really hard to compete with Diglett in that 430 gold per minute farm, and Prisoners are going to start to become a really big problem here. Portal Key is probably his first item, 2600 gold at this point, so he has access to it if he wants to purchase it. Triple stacked Ancients off to the side here, going to be taken by somebody, I assume, because Rhapsody's sitting right on top of them. And it might be Diglett. Yeah, so they're going to focus farm on Diglett pretty heavily. Drunken also going to help out. So they'll be mostly doing these as a team. And picking up a pretty good degree of farm as a result. Drunken taking a lot of damage, but obviously will not die. In fact, Prisoner chose to go for the Ring of Sorcery, so feeling like he had a little bit too much in terms of the mana problems and trying to address that a little bit. He's still pretty close to his Portal Key if that's what he wants to go for next, and I would really be shocked if it wasn't. Top lane going to be pushed in, as Ophelia is going to head over with 3 minions. Meraxis is also here, but an Invis Drunken Master perhaps going to represent a bit of opposition to this tower push. And we're going to see Diglett come in here as well. Gets spotted out by the Minotaur, but not the biggest deal. Teleport coming in as well. Drunken's here. Obviously, they're going to focus Ophelia. Hook does not connect to this, but he does, though. That's definitely going to be a dead Ophelia. And a Prisoner Ultimate coming out. They're going to drop Meraxis here pretty easily. Matrax is doing a lot to mitigate damage, and he's going to know he's not going to live, as the poison was doing plenty in the hook anyway. Go back here on Adro. That's going to be another kill. Kraken going to try to run away here with the Skeleton King from Ophelia. Dr. Repulsor is... No, sorry. Meraxis bought back, and he's coming back in. Dr. Repulsor's in the middle, not going to do anything. Kraken going to get caught, and he's dead. Meraxis now looking for more, but is they going to get the counter kill? Yes, we'll get another Drench. Hook hits him, though, and he's going to be in some trouble. Shackle gets applied once again. Arcane Shield not going to do anything, and that's going to be another kill. So the dieback from Meraxis, as they essentially get a genocide in exchange for just Rhapsody and the middle tower, I guess, as Dr. Repulsor was free farming. But not a good exchange for the Hellborn at all. The mid tower was nice, but the Legion already took their opposing tower, and that's just bad. Codex picked up by there by Parasite. Hook actually will hit Dr. Repulsor, but he is able to jet away with that ultimate. Still has plenty of mana as well, so he's fine. Top tower does go down.
Don't be jealous of me now.
Notable that once again we've got an even better push lineup from the Hellborn side with the Ophelia, and they only have 1 tower kill at 15 minutes into the game. Top tower is still standing. Obviously they did try to push that, but the response from the Legion is substantial and unable to therefore push it. Ancients being taken here as well. Dr. Repulsor trying to pick up some farm, as he's still at 260 gold per minute, so we've seen some really iffy performances here, I think, from Balthazar in the last few games. First in the Slither and now here in the Dr. Repulsor. I can't put it all on him, because I think the decision-making by Sweet Like Ice in general has been highly questionable. But he's also not really been able to maintain sufficient GPMs to keep his team in the game. Or to justify his team not CCing, basically. Bottom tower will be the next focus here for The Last of Us. They drop a ward off to the side. Shackle goes down, and the Prisoner ultimate, plus the hook. Balthazar will fall right off the bat. Micey looking for more. Drops the Untouchable here. Gets aggro, but the energy field goes down. A couple more auto attacks should finish him. Nope. Nua's Blessing helps live, as Meraxis is looking for something here. Eats the slow and the staccatos. Over here, though, Micey's in a lot of trouble, diving a little too deep. Gets totally abandoned by his team, and he will die. So ends up being a 1-for-1 there. Balthazar did buy back. Probably not necessary or good, but I guess that's a thing now. Ends up being 1-for-1 trade in favor of Legion as they take out the opposing carry for their suicide. And also get a buyback. Portal key is picked up by Prisoner. Obviously misses the hook. Balthazar here looking for an initiation, won't find it. Drent's a little bit too far away on that Rhapsody. Parasites here in a Wild Hunter. They're going to look to counter onto something. Jump there onto Shackle on Doctor. Hook does hit Ophelia, but not Doctor. In the meantime, Facehug will help finish him. No! Port back from Ophelia. Huge plays. Last auto attack will not finish her. Rhapsody finishing off that, but anyway, Viver dropped on the bottom.
I am free.
Let's watch that.
I am free.
He is free.
I am free at last.
Man, he's really free. Solar Spray going down here, and the ultimate. So cracking the port out, but obviously not going to be enough as he goes up here and gradually ticks down to the toxicity and tries to take it. Nope. So that's the port back from Ophelia. That was a pretty awesome play there from Oph. And obviously she will live here, as this is what we saw earlier. Rhapsody dropping the ultimate for basically no reason. Drop back there. Hook will not hit Oph. Meraxis taking the stun there. Drops the Matrax though, and they could try to turn this around. The Legion side is generally pretty low. Arcane Shield not going to hit anything. And Micey's looking for some initiation here. Takes a Skeleton Kingstone as well as the slow from Doctor. But he's not going to be initiated on further, as the Hellborn side generally out of mana on Meraxis and Engineer. Repulsor's mostly okay, but obviously is pretty much by himself. Prisoner looking to jump somebody. Won't be able to do so. Bottom lanes gets pushing down by Solar here with all of his nice little words. Meanwhile, over here, Dr. Repulsor get pulled back in with the Shackle and the ultimate from Prisoner. That's a pretty solid kill.
Hellborn Tower.
How many times can he yell, "I am free at last"? So Beaverbanger takes down that bottom tower as Balthazar dies in the middle. And once again, The Last of Us in a pretty enviable position with 9k golden experience as their advantage. They're taking pretty solid map control here. All 3 tier 1 towers down. They've only lost one of their own in the middle. And they're continuing to shut down the opposing team's carry here. Balthazar 250 gold per minute, the 3rd highest farmer on the team, and below everybody on the Legion side except for Rhapsody. So, not looking great. I mean, this game, Beaverbanger not even having that solid a time. 362 gold per minute is fine, but not particularly spectacular. Didn't have a very good laning phase, as Viver basically beat him as that Suicide Kraken, so that was really impressive. And once again, I think it comes down to the decision making. It seems like, technically speaking, in terms of skill, Sweet Like Ice is a really good team. Like, they've got really good players. It just seems like, I don't know whether it's a leadership issue, or, and meanwhile in middle lane actually Viver getting picked off, so just I was praising him and then he dies. I don't know what it is. Micey Bro, Manuel, I'm going to try to jump onto Meraxis here, drops the Arcane Shield, not going to be enough. Kegson will actually hit Drunken Master, has the Untouchable active, and we'll see, hook back, and they're going to try to finish off this onto Meraxis. Matrax doesn't do too much damage there, so they're jumping in here with the Energizer. Will actually hit Meraxis there. Ultimate hits a couple. That's a pretty easy kill, but they counter onto Drent's. Adro taking much damage from this ultimate, and he's going to put a Prisoner ult down. Will only hit Balthazar though. Hook does not connect. Adro in the meantime back to will die, as will Balthazar. Ends up being a 4 for nothing. Sorry, 4 for 1. As Adro is Rhapsody's the only one to die on the Legion side. And Ophelia the only one to live on the Hellborn side. Mid tower falls in the meantime, and they might look to push this into the base. So, anyway, it's a bit unfortunate, because it seems like Sweet Like Ice, the skill is there. It absolutely is. The decision making is a bit questionable. I think the drafting perhaps could use some work. And I'm not sure. There might be an issue with leadership, with the captain's role. I don't know. But it just, watching this game, it seems like they should be doing a lot better than they are. I mean, they're down 18-9 in hero kills, and they're down substantially in golden experience, but it doesn't feel like they're playing badly. It's weird. Off to the side here, Kraken actually will take the stun from Meisty, and we'll see if he actually finishes this off. He's got the haste rune, untouchable there, and he's gonna get this kill. Meisty obviously the bulwark there. Diglett, meanwhile, gonna get the jump from Ophelia, just locking her down completely. And he dies. Over here off to the side, Mirax is going to get jumped once again as 3 players are collapsing. So there's spray going down. Mirax's Arcane Shield not going to get popped once again, as they have been really good at avoiding that. Drops the stun. And he's trying to get away, still slowed, but the stun from Mycee will help kill him. Matrax obviously is mitigating a lot of damage, but not nearly enough. Bot tower now going to fall, as Rhapsody is porting back to base. Nope, cancels it.
Destroyed a Hellborn tower.
Bound Eye here is scouting out for some wards, but they're not going to find any, as they're pretty much all in mill. So, speaking of wards, Hellborn have like nothing. They've got 1 ward in the middle lane, and obviously the Bound Eye not helping in that regard, but seems like we could see a little bit better, a little bit more warding. Adra obviously a very good support player, so I'm not calling him out by any means. And I don't mean to call anybody out by saying that Sweet Life Ice seems like they've got some stuff to work on, but it's just it's a strange experience, man. I don't think it's not really something that I've casted a lot of games now. I mean, I'm up in the several hundreds, I think, and it never feels like when you see a team that's down 13, 14, 15k at 22 minutes into the game, it's because it's BMG versus Scrubs. You know? Like, it's not this. Rampos are going to run away, he'll be totally fine. And now he's going to reinitiate here, looking for the jump onto Prisoner, out of mana at this point, takes the Codex from Parasite. They're going to be able to get Diglett out, I think. Release the Kraken, gets dropped, he's slowed, and that's going to be a pretty easy kill, so well played there. They're also going to drop the illusions pretty simply, as the entire Hellborn team congregates mostly for that kill. Conqueror now going to be their focus, it looks like. Ophelia porting away. Nope, also going to cancel it. So, wards are up here, as Adra's got some vision, so the Hellborn side are going to see the Legion coming here, but the Legion know that they're doing Conqueror, and they might not want to be here. Meisty Bro going to jump in here, drops the Untouchable. Arcane Shield actually went down after his stun. Ultimate Onslaught hits only a couple of heroes, but that's going to definitely stop the Conqueror here, as both Kraken and Miraxus do not want to eat all that poison damage, and then fight some more. Conqueror at about a third, maybe a little bit more of his health. And so they're going to start to do some damage to him here off the side. Adro and Archie Tiger looking for something. Adro going to get jumped. Kegson actually gets taken there by Meisty somehow. But, whatever. Backs them off. So we'll see what they do here, but hooked onto Ophelia here will connect. Rhapsody drops the dance floor. That's the easy kill onto Archie Tiger, as the burst is just way too strong, especially from Parasite. Off to the side here, Kraken will have to charge away, and he will be fine. But obviously a pretty big kill there. As this turns into a 4v5, it seems very difficult, I think, for the Hellborn to stop this Conqueror. Prisoner portal keys forward, does not connect with the hook. But Meisty will connect with the stun and the sprint. Yeah, Vivor's just so squishy, man. Does not feel like he's a real hero. Face rune on Meisty, easy kill on Adro. We'll see if they can turn this on Balthazar as well. He jets away with his ultimate, uses all his mana, but he's well into his base, so it doesn't matter. Hooked onto the creep, so they're going to be able to kill that, but doesn't actually connect onto a hero. Meanwhile, Conqueror, of course, going down. And that should be a relatively easy kill. as Prisoner comes in to help out, so they're taking a bunch of damage, but not a big deal.
Kongor has been slain.
Notable that Sawyer actually picked up a Spell Sunder, pretty interesting. Diglett going for an Alchemist Bones on top of his Ring of Sorcery and Portal Key, so interesting. Meisty finishing his Demonic Breastplate. Obviously, what you got is leveling up that Codex, currently level 3. Balthazar going to get dropped down here, very possibly, just locked down. No ability to get his ult off. That's painful. Hellborn side generally devoid of items. Moraxis has a Portal Key, and Archdagger has got the Ring of Sorcery. It's going to be their CC vote. Calling GG's here. Offensive GG's, but GG's nonetheless. Anyway, Astrolabe, Ring of Sorcery on Oath, and obviously Icon, maybe the item on Dr. Repulsor if you can ever get it. Meanwhile, jump here onto Kraken, so this spray does actually hit off the side on Archdagger, will be a kill. Meraxis looking for a stun, doesn't actually hit it, so they're all going down onto Meraxis there as well. Drops the Arcane Shield, once again not getting popped. Meisty in some trouble as he's pretty low. He will fall here, but he gets the token back up, right up to the ultimate, stating a lot of damage, but she's going to fall here. Balthazar the first one to go down first, and Archdagger, Rapstation will live, and that's the game. So this play actually hits, that's going to be Genocide. So, that's it. That was an odd game. I don't know, that felt like a very strange game, but regardless of how strange it was, The Last of Us take it in about 26 minutes, so very strong, solid performance from them, and they will take the Series 2-0 and move out of the Pro League, while Sweet Like Ice is relegated in the Amateur Division. And it's such an odd match to watch because you feel like Ice is not playing badly and they're losing so horribly. I don't understand where it comes from, but regardless of wherever it does come from, that's what happened, and congratulations to The Last of Us for moving on, and we'll see what Archdagger and the boys can move on to do in the future. Obviously, Sweet Like Ice did break up after this match, so that's why Adrio's on Reason Gaming now, and we'll see. Balthazar, I think, joined Willowkeeper. I don't know about the other guys, but definitely some potential with these players, and I think that I'd like to see them stay around because they could do some pretty impressive stuff if they could figure some things out. But anyway, that will do it for this, and that will also do it for the CiC Qualifiers, as this is the last match that I had left to cast. So, thanks for joining me, and we'll see you next time.